What's up, guys? Here's Galczyfer with another great video.
Today we're doing MS9.
Like and subscribe.
Alright, my name's Julie. I worked on the structural components of the OSB and finances.
I'm Stephanie. I was mostly in charge of like the design and like what materials we were using.
I'm Anirudh, and I was mostly involved with the button and iris sensor stuff.
I'm Tyler. I was the team lead and was focused on the code and navigation aspect.
I'm Alex. I mostly followed on making the CAD and then helped build it with that CAD.
I'm Max. I was on design, but I mostly worked on electronics and a little bit of code as well.
I'm Philip, and I mostly worked on coding with Alex.
And we're missing Colin here, but he worked on the CAD a lot too. He was working on design with me.
Prompt A. Consider the biggest design flaw in your delivered product. What erroneous assumptions or modeling errors led to this design flaw, and how did this flaw impact your product's performance and/or the development process?
I could think of one, how we had our arm made out of acrylic, and then once it went over the fire, it started to melt a little bit.
True.
Yeah,
That was a flaw.
We had like a really janky like solution where we would just tape tinfoil to the bottom of it, and yeah, that was just like.
And the tinfoil essentially caught all the ash, and also it helped because even though it was brushing up against the candle, it wouldn't actually extinguish the flame either, which was another good help.
So I suppose the erroneous assumption here is that acrylic wasn't as strong as we thought it was. Like it really started to melt pretty quickly. Yeah, which I was surprised by. And in terms of modeling, it was actually we ended up making our arm taller than we needed, which was a good thing because in the end we needed that extra height for the aluminum to not snuff out the center fire.
Yeah, like in the first place it was like way too short where we couldn't even get it over the other candles or the middle candle, so it would have like put out the middle candle's fire anyway. So it's a good thing we lifted the height, and the height was enough where we could also add the tinfoil to it.
We also made it more sturdy too, because remember that first test where it was like too flimsy and it would droop down?
It was too heavy.
Oh, the rack.
Yeah, the rack, and then we made it more sturdy because we like double layered it, and then that really helped because it was a constant like level to it and not just drooping down because it would hit the candles.
That solved the problem that we didn't realize it would solve later on with the wiring to the iris
that's
sensors.
true,
'Cause
yeah.
Because
In the end, the way we wired the infrared sensors is had them go through the box system, which we wouldn't be able to do if we had just used the normal rack. Sure. Category 1, troubleshooting. Which subsystem went through the largest number of most drastic iterations? What happened? Well,
Who wants to speak?
I'll go into it. So the biggest subsystem that changed has got to be the rack and pinion system, because it started off shorter and with the rack system being a single acrylic sheet, and it turned into a taller system with a box, and we ended up having to re-laser engrave stuff several times.
Not only laser engrave, but also detach everything because it was originally all screwed on to the chassis, and then we'd have to reattach it with screws, and then we had to do that several times. Every time we, laser cut it and re-engraved it, made it a little bit taller. So that definitely took some of our time.
Yeah, I still remember the first day that Mike was like, yeah, let's go work in the lab. And we were like all so excited. We went to go use the laser cutter. We tried cutting the acrylic for the first time, and we didn't do 2 pass-throughs, so it didn't even get cut out all the way. We were trying to pick it out with the X-Acto knife, but it didn't even work, so we had to recut that one in the first place anyways. So
We had a lot of scrap wood.
yeah.
By the end of it, yeah.
How did the team stay encouraged to persist through failure? This is the teamwork category.
So we had a lot of different issues with electronics where we would occasionally have an Arduino fry or our motor shield on several occasions broke on us. One time we accidentally blew the capacitor, which was no fault of our own. But another time it just mysteriously died on us with no telltale signs of why or any sort of forewarning. All of a sudden we'd go to actually test our OSB and it would perform worse and worse to the point where it wouldn't even be able to drive forward or turn. I remember there was that issue where I had the drive forward code, and if I had another single line of anything else, it wouldn't run it. So we eventually found out, we rewired everything, we changed Arduinos, tried to look through the code as thoroughly as possible, nothing worked. So we were like, all right, let's just, reattach or just swap out the motor shield, and that ended up working.
Yeah, what I think really helped us was we kept isolating variables. Like with that, what Tyler just brought up, in that example, we worked on slowly taking out pieces of the code until we realized even a single extra line would stop it from working. And we knew the code worked before, so it had to be some kind of electronics issue. So we kept working on changing the electronics until we tried it with a new motor controller, and that worked. So even though we never actually figure out why for some reason that motor controller just stopped working, we're still able to work through it.
Yes.
Like no one knew what was wrong. Even what's the name?
The TAs,
the
Mike didn't know
TAs,
either.
all
Gosh,
of them, they didn't know what was
Yep.
We
wrong.
had no idea what happened.
I think another good aspect was that when things did go wrong, nobody got mad at each other, nobody
Yes.
blamed anyone,
Yes.
nobody started yelling or arguing. Like, we made a plan and solved the issue, and we all worked together, not
Yes.
against anyone.
I think on top of that, we did a good job of when we were working. If there was a task like that only like 2 or 3 people could actually work on, everyone else in the team would go and work on something else. Like I remember one class you guys went to go get shirts.
Yeah, we were still productive.
And everyone was still productive.
Yeah,
Like you
we
just
don't
went to
know how to
shirts,
code, so
and then you two were working on you 3 were working on the rover, and me and Ani were working on the infrared code.
Right.
Oh, God.
We all as a team did very well about assigning tasks and making sure that even if there was one thing that took up maybe work on the OSB, the other, I guess, 5 people not working on it specifically could still be productive towards our overall goal. Good job.
With the motor, at least when it died, I don't think Julie, were you at the office hours that day?
No, I
But
wasn't.
she wasn't there, but you're the one who ordered all the parts. So Alex and Tyler texted you, or texted the group that it's not working, and we figured out a plan how to overnight ship it and all that stuff.
Yeah, we could do it quick enough to have a solved problem, because if we waited even another day, we wouldn't have had it.
Oh my god, that was so stressful
Yeah.
too, because it was at the very
Yeah,
end.
we were like 3 days away from
It was
final
it was that
competition.
that Monday
Yeah.
before in class, we were like, the motor died on us. We were like,
Uh-oh.
oh crap.
Yeah.
In terms of time lost, it was probably close to 6 to 8 hours of just testing that we lost from that
Yes.
motor.
Not to mention that other motor shield that we spent 2 full days in class trying to figure it out.
In total, we've had 3 of the blue motor shields. The first one got fried. The second one started frying Arduinos, and we have no idea why. And then the third one just wouldn't work, and also started frying
Yep.
things and not working.
We've been cursed, but we somehow came out successful. So if that proves anything about our team, I'd say we all did a very good job.
Yep.
If you had half as much time and money, what would your OTV look like? And this is category 4, project management.
Also, we did do very good on money, so I think the half as much money would not be as much of a problem, because we got a lot of our parts for free and donated or really cheap.
We used a lot of the wood scraps and everything.
Because we only came out at 210, and it's 320 is the max, so we did very good.
We were already under
time-wise.
budget, yeah. So I guess time-wise, it would have been pretty stressful.
Probably would have been a lot more bare bones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we had half as much time, who knows if we would have had to do everything that we had done.
Right.
But it probably would have been, it
Probably
would have been
would've
definitely a
boring.
lot more stressful,
Yeah.
considering even though that the amount of stress that we already had with the regular amount of time. I guess we would have been a lot more time in open lab, which
There would
still
also
wouldn't, because we already spent so much time in open lab that it's kind of hard to believe that.
There would also probably be a lot more mistakes on competition day, because by the time we got to competition day, we had all wired the thing several times. We had assembled things and broken stuff accidentally and then had to fix it, so that when competition day came, we sort of knew all the issues that could cause something to break and ways in which it could break, and we could avoid that. But if we had half as much time, it would probably be more issues that we encounter on that last day.
Yep.
Wait, is it dropping it off? Yeah! That's 80. That's 80. Yep.
Just had to leave it.
We probably would have failed at every one of the mission objectives.
Yeah. Well, the benefit of our design though was that in terms of 3D printing, we actually could do it probably with half the time because most of our stuff was laser cut, which you can get done in like a class.
Yeah, because we 3D printed almost barely anything.
Yeah, 4 motor housings and the gear, which was all done
Like
three.
that first week.
Yeah, 3 housings were done before spring break, and then the other housing and the gear were done first day of class after spring break.
Perfect. All right,
I think that's good.
I think we're good. All right, Galczyfer out.
Cool.